Where do we find it? And I think the answer to that comes in the life of the Mother of God. If you can imagine the experience of Mary. Young girl, pious girl, raised in the temple, knows the Torah, knows the laws of Israel. Pious parents who know the laws of Israel. They do what it means to be a good Jew. They live the way they're supposed to live. They're doing all the right things. And then one day, this young 15-year-old girl has an experience that changes her life and the life of the entire created world forever. Going about the ordinary business of her ordinary everyday life, the angel appears and says, "Rejoice, O highly favored daughter, the Lord is with you. Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of your womb." And Scripture tells us Mary's troubled. She's thinking, what is going on? And then the angel goes on to tell her that she's found favor with God. She's going to conceive and give birth to a son. Now, Mary is not stupid. She knows that she is not married. She knows that she's not involved in a sexual relationship, and she knows that it's impossible to have a child without a man being involved. It doesn't happen. It's a biological impossibility. But when the angel says, "This is the will of God," Mary says yes. "I'm the servant of the Lord. Let it be done to me as you say." Now imagine what's going through Mary's head in the moment when she says yes to that angel. She's surely thinking, okay, I can believe that it's possible. It's possible because I believe in God, and God says it must be possible. But then imagine, as she begins to think about the reality of this, God, the one whose name is not pronounced in Judaism, God, who tells Moses, "I am who I am, my face you shall not see." God who resides in the temple veiled, hidden behind the Holy of Holies. God who speaks from the smoke on the top of Sinai. God who guides his people through the desert in the column of fire, the column of smoke. God who is totally, completely other, wholly inaccessible. God is going to be in my womb. God is going to be the father of my child, and my child is going to be God. If I can wrap my head around the biological reality, I certainly can't wrap my head around what it's going to mean. Mary's got to be thinking this. And then, of course, the next thing Mary's got to be thinking is, okay, if I say yes to this, I have to go tell Joseph that I'm pregnant. And he's going to know that this is not his son. But I'll tell him, "Oh, Joseph, it's okay, it's God's child." And how am I going to explain that? And even if I can explain that, Joseph's a good man, he's a pious man. If I can explain it to him, and if he believes it, then we still have to go and tell my parents. "Hi, Mom. Hi, Dad. I'm having a baby. The baby's not his. But it's okay. He's God's son." But Joachim and Anne, they're pious. They're the ones who sent Mary to the temple. So, okay, maybe they'll buy it. Maybe they'll buy it. And even if they buy it, Mary and Joseph still have to go tell Joseph's parents. And if they go and tell Joseph's parents, will Joseph's parents encourage Joseph to break off the engagement? Will Joseph's parents encourage Joseph to go and expose Mary to trial, to public ridicule, to the possibility of being stoned to death? It's a possibility. And even if Joseph's parents are okay with it, and they go along with it, there are still the women at the well. And every morning, Joseph's mother and Anna, Mary's mother, have to go down to the well to draw water and meet the women of the town and deal with the gossip. You have to hear about Mary. Oh, I heard all about Mary. Yeah, they say that she's pregnant. Yeah, but it's not Joseph's kid. They say it's God's kid. Yeah, it's God's kid. I believe that. Do you believe that? Anna's coming. Anna's coming. And they have to deal with that. All of these things have to be running through Mary's head. All of these concerns, all of these worries, all of these very, very real concerns and very, very real worries. And yet none of these is enough to let her say, no, I'm not going to do this. Thank you very much, but no thank you. None of these is enough to allow her to stay settled into her comfort zone. Because her love for her God is so real that she believes that if God says this will happen, and if this is the will of God, that God's going to deal with it. Because He is God. And so Mary doesn't even ask any more questions. If it's God's will, let it be God's will. And we know the story. Mary goes through her 9 months of pregnancy. And at the end of her 9 months, ends up hopping on the back of a donkey and bouncing through the desert off to Bethlehem. Now, I obviously have never been pregnant, nor will I ever be pregnant, but I can imagine that the last thing a 9-month pregnant woman wants to do is hop on the back of a donkey and bounce across the desert. But Mary does. She gets there, and probably at this point being totally tired, completely emotionally and mentally exhausted, physically worn out. All she wants to do is lie down and put her feet up. And she's told, oh, sorry, there's no room here for you. And place after place discovers that there's not even a bed.